today is the problem of violence in human affairs since the dawn of creation, in keeping with what we read in Sapiens, the brief history of humankind. Before I was born, and let me remind you about the age factor. The Bible records 70 as a life well lived. That's about twice your age that you mentioned.
That's exceptions.
Okay. Anyways, so before I was born, and I'm just over 70, the world, it appeared, had its share of violence, and the menace of hatred had taken root in every heart around the globe and in the outer reaches of the universe. Nation had risen against nation, man against his fellow man, and men and women had their routine bouts of domestic violence, just as they do to this day everywhere you look. To my young, innocent mind, God was ever so perfect, ever so loving and kind, and Adam, God's noblest and supremest creation, was part of Allah's process of evolution on this planet as a human being. Or so I was conditioned to believe. The man turned out to be a butcher. He killed his brother right there in heaven, this side of Eden. And trust me, God could not believe his own blithering eyes. Allah couldn't believe he had created a Godzilla who now rules the world in the guise.
Good, very good pun.
A Godzilla who. Okay, thank you. Who now rules the world in the guise of a golden-haired orangutan. We are gathered here today to talk about Yuval Noah Harari's 2011 book, Sapiens, a brief history of humankind. I read the book in the spring of 2012, courtesy of a book editor in the United Kingdom who asked me to review it for his publication. A few weeks ago, when Pervez Salahuddin and Khaled Sohail approached me to be part of this discussion, they gave me a free hand to choose the subject for the purpose of our discussion today. So I came up with a problem of violence in human affairs since the dawn of creation. For me, the afterword, where Harari talks about the animal that became a god, was perhaps the best part of the book. 70 years ago, he writes, Homo sapiens was still an insignificant animal minding its own business in a corner of Africa, where I come from. In the following millennia, it transformed itself into the master of an entire planet and the terror of the ecosystem. Today, it stands on the verge of becoming a god, poised to acquire not only eternal youth, but also the divine possibilities of creation and destruction. Unfortunately, the Sapiens regime on Earth has so far produced little that we can be proud of. He adds, we have mastered our surroundings, increased food production, built cities, established empires, and created far-flung trade networks. But did we decrease the amount of suffering in the world? Time and again, massive increases in human power did not necessarily improve the well-being of individual sapiens and usually caused immense misery to other animals. In the last few decades, we have at last made some real progress as far as the human condition is concerned, with the reduction of famine, plague, and war. Yet the situation of other animals is deteriorating more rapidly than ever before, and the improvement in the lot of humanity is too recent and fragile to be certain of. Moreover, despite the astonishing things that humans are capable of doing, we remain unsure of our own goals, and we seem to be as discontented as ever. We have advanced from canoes to galleys, to spaceships, to steamships and space shuttles, but nobody knows where we are going. We are more powerful than ever before, but have very little idea what to do with all that power. Worse still, humans seem to be more irresponsible than ever. Self-made gods with only the laws of physics to keep us company. We are accountable to no one. We are consequently wreaking havoc on our fellow animals and on the surrounding ecosystem, seeking little more than our own comfort and amusement, yet never finding satisfaction. Is there anything more dangerous than dissatisfied and irresponsible gods who don't know what they want? End of quote. That, for me, is the essence of the book. Harari's approach to history reminds us that we are meaning-seeking animals, absolute animals who believe we are human. Although he doesn't say it as blatantly as I do, we are also unthinking, heat-seeking missiles ready to explode at the drop of a hat. In every metropolis today, everyone you meet is from someplace else. Using history that is bunk, history that is the junk heap of the past, history that is emotive and subjective, history that is forever misguiding us. Whom will you then blame for being a white racist, a colonial supremacist, an imperial blue blood empire builder's descendant, or the other? When are we going to learn to forgive each other of our emotional attachment to memories of another day called the past? Yeah, to forgive and forget that we too are from someplace else and not from here, wherever we are, okay? What right do I have then to lug my past on my shoulders as if it was the reason for my being, to bitch and complain wherever I go that things should be like this, they should be like this, like that. Man has never been content with what he's got. And never to let go of the past, which is history. Because history boils the blood. History breeds hate, rather than empathic understanding of one another, because we are all from someplace else. We are all from someplace else. But we have come together to dwell in peace, love and unity, dictated by the need to accept who we are and to see each other, okay, as we are, not through the eyes of yesterday, not over our collective racial mind, the collective unconscious. We all seek common ground, a high moral common ground on which to meet and understand each other. In this room, we have scientists and laypersons, writers and artists and poets, believers and skeptics, thinkers, philosophers, logicians and theorists of every kind. In this forum, we have debated about truth and lies, God and religion, humanism and transhumanism. Today, there's a change of attitude. Change of attitude, a paradigm shift. You don't tell God how big your problems are. Instead, you tell your problems how big your God is. This golden-haired son of an orangutan. Okay. So, today, the master butchers on planet Earth are Harari's own countrymen, from Jehovah's own chosen nation of Israel, and the planet of the apes south of our border. For at least 70 years of our modern history, the Israeli variety of ape has been wreaking havoc on its neighboring Arab nations, possibly because Moses abruptly turned left, okay? Little northwards, away from the oil fields that have made Arabs the richest apes on this planet.
True.
The kingdom of orangutan has always supported and backed Harari's clan because the kingdom to the south of us ultimately believes in a triune coalition for their redemption. The Bible, Jesus the Christ, and the nation of Israel that got Jesus nailed to the cross. The kingdom of God is a fanciful restoration of the Temple of Jerusalem in Judaism, in Christianity, and in Islam. Harari does not dwell on the bloodshed caused in the name of the Holy One. A conservative estimate reckons the human ape has indulged in 72,000 wars in the past 3,000 years. That works out to 24 wars a year, or a war every fortnight. Does that mean that the so-called human ape lived in peace, love, and unity for 13 days and then suddenly on a whim went to war on the 14th? No. Or does that tell you that this misnamed disaster of nomenclature, okay, this murderous human being is the worst animal on this planet, threatening the very survival of the ecosystem that sustains us? Whether we are meat eaters or vegetarians is not the point. The danger in looking at history, whose lessons we as mankind have never bothered to learn, is that it is a useless pursuit. The past is dead, very, very dead. You can't start the next chapter of your life if you keep rereading the last one. That's where I part company with Brad. Thank you.